Hey everyone, it's Nate. So today I'm going to go over the top 10 tips on how you can master your money. Let's get it. Welcome back everyone. It is Nate and I am here to help bring you all the tips, life hacks, and walkthroughs of personal finance, investing, budgeting, mortgage, tax issues, all that stuff. I'm here to help you out. So if you don't mind sticking around and smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm, I would really appreciate that. You guys are amazing. And without further ado, let's get into it. Today we are talking about the habits, mindsets, and behaviors of the 1%. Recently, a study was done, and out of the thousands of millionaires that they interviewed, there was a common thread throughout many of them. And I'm going to go through the top 10 commonalities between the 1%ers in our society. Now, this isn't by any means an exhaustive list. This is not a guide as to how to live your life. What this is, though, is a composite, an observation of the people that are the very best at financial management and wealth creation. On this list, there's going to be a mix of different things, different tips, different life hacks, different mentality shifts that can be made. And on their own, each one of these can be helpful, but to get the true measure of their power, you need to practice all of them as much as you can. So starting off top 10 style, starting with 10 and moving down to 1. You don't want to miss 1, by the way. It is a game changer. So please stick around for that. But 10 is going to be everything is negotiable. Here's what that means. When I say the phrase, everything is negotiable, your mind probably goes to seeing your dad at a car lot when you're a teenager trying to find you a good deal in a car. Or when you're trying to haggle with someone on Facebook Marketplace to try and get a really good deal on some headphones. Either way, you've had some encounter with this at some point. And beyond just dealing with people one-on-one and trying to get a better arrangement for yourself and for your situation, you can also do this with other things. These things include the price of utilities, interest rates, and payment terms for various arrangements you may have. So if you were to go refinance your home, and this is an excellent time to do that considering rates are so low, you could go and negotiate your rate at a bank. And so what you do is you go apply for a refinancing loan on your home at a bank, and they say they give you one rate, say it's 3% interest rate on your loan, and you take that note and you go to the next bank and you say, this is what I have, can you beat it? They say, oh, we can beat it. Yes, we can. And they give you 2.5. Well, you take that 2.5% interest rate and you go to other banks and you race around and you try and shoot and go for the absolute lowest rate you can get. Number 9 on this list is going to be to avoid high interest debt. Now, note that I did not say avoid all debt. I said avoid high interest debt. Here's why. Not all debt is bad. I know Dave Ramsey somewhere is screaming, hollering, just... I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. It's okay. Let me explain why not all debt is bad debt. In some cases, debt can actually make you money. Most of the time, when you buy a home, your house will appreciate over time. And if you're fortunate enough to have an appreciation rate that is higher than your mortgage interest rate, it can actually start paying you at some point. And what I mean by this is that all the negatives that you have from a mortgage, the insurance costs, the interest cost, all that is less than the equity you gain and the tax breaks you get. For example, my wife and I, we bought a house and our interest rate is 4.125%. And with everything factored out and with the tax benefits that we get from using our home as, a base for some of our side businesses, we actually get paid back from our house $124 per month after all that. So that is what I mean when I say not all debt is bad debt. And so with avoiding high interest debt, I would typically say that about 5% and over is going to be high interest. So that's going to be some car loans. Almost all credit cards are going to be above that. So you don't want to carry a balance on those cards. So just pay those off at the end of your cycle and you won't have to deal with any of that interest. And if you do happen to be someone out there who has a credit card balance, here's what you can do. You can get what's called a balance transfer card, and I'll link some of these in the description, ones that are really good that give you a nice long berth of time without any interest due. This is extremely valuable because credit cards have between 20 and 30% interest rates, which are enormous. And if you can pause that just for a little while, that might be just enough wiggle room for you to be able to, with your current budget, get rid of your credit card debt. Number 8 is a very important one, and that is going to be to spend less than you earn. I know it sounds simple, I know it sounds rudimentary, it's common sense, but not a lot of people follow this, unfortunately. And if you do this, if you continue to live in this way and spend as much as you make or more than you make, you will be a wage slave forever, basically. It'll be very challenging for you to retire, and if anything were to happen, it might need total catastrophe for all your finances and your life. The 50-30-20 rule is something that was devised by someone far smarter than me, and I'm not smart at all, so let's not just get too far into that. Let's not make me feel bad, guys. Come on. But the 50-30-20 rule is that all your base living expenses should fit on half of your budget, half of your income if you can get it to that. 30% should be put towards additional spending that you need to make, whatever else, but things that are non-essentials. And you should save and invest at least 20% of your income. This is a healthy breakup of things you want to get, of things that you need to get, and things that are for tomorrow, for the future. And by saving 20%, you're going to give yourself a huge boost when it comes time to buy a house and to get a car, and you'll have a lot more security when you go to do those things if you have a little bit of savings on the side. So on to number 6, and number 6 ties in very well with number 7, and that is going to be to pay yourself first. So here's what I mean by that. So not only should you save 20% of your income, but you should save that money before you do anything else. I know that a lot of you, and myself included sometimes, this is how we handle saving. We'll go through our month and we'll take care of all the bills that we have to take care of and any unexpected things that come up, and we'll deal with all those. And at the end of the month, we take what little we have left and maybe put it aside into our savings. That's kind of been a common thing that I've seen. But if you make saving a priority and you build that into your budget to be one of the first things that you do, and really it should be the first thing that you do, because you deserve to get paid. You deserve that. You work hard. I know you do. So pay yourself. Number 6 is a very important one as well, and that is going to be to set goals for yourself. Without having goals, you won't have any focus for what you're doing. And if there's anything that I've seen in life, it's that focus is dangerous. It's lethal. And if you're not focused on what you're trying to do, the things you're trying to conquer will conquer you. So instead of skipping this step totally, this is what you should do. You should set yourself specific, measurable, attainable, and realistic goals within a certain time frame. It's important to plan for this month, this season, this year, and 3 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out. Plan for as far out as you can. Set your goals. And this is a really kind of a fun thing because you take what you want. You take the vision in your mind. You take the things that you hold dear in your heart, and you set a course of action to make those real. Focus is what enables you to take what you have now and to grow it into what your wildest dreams are. I'm not trying to preach this self-help gospel thing, but what I will say is that being focused and having goals and things in place that you're working towards and making actionable steps to accomplish, it'll make those things significantly more possible than not doing this at all. Moving on from that is going to be number 5, and that is going to be to start investing as early as possible. There is one thing that I have addressed in other videos, and that is the power of compounding interest and just how incredibly powerful time can be when you start investing. To put things in perspective, $1 saved now can equal thousands of dollars in the future. So it absolutely makes sense to save and invest as early as possible because that number only gets bigger the earlier you start. There are some great tools to get started with this, and Robinhood and Webull are excellent options, and I'll have links to those two in the description as well, along with descriptions for some books that I really enjoyed and that helped me out and helped get my mind right with how to handle money and investing and all that. So number 4 is going to be a tool that you can use to kind of check your total financial health. Number 4 is checking your net worth and calculating that and seeing where you're at. It's a pretty easy calculation. You don't need a MBA or a doctorate in physics or anything to figure it out. I'll just tell you how to figure it out. It's really quite simple. So what you'll want to do is take your total amount of cash, stocks, property, everything that you own, and put it in one pile and count that pile. And let's say this pile is $100,000 worth. And on this side, we have our liabilities, which is going to be everything that we have to pay, all of our debts and all that. So let's say that's $25,000. So $100,000 minus $25,000 equals $75,000. And that's just a very simple way to calculate that out. There's other ways and methods of throwing things in there, but that's just quite simply what it is. Number 3 was one of the most commonly answered items in this whole study, and that is going to be to always be open and have your mind open to new ways as to how to make and save money. So this is really about being open to new things, keeping your mind open and seeing opportunity wherever it may present itself. One of the opportunities you can take advantage of is being able to better the best investment vehicle on earth, and that is going to be you. If you only have a little bit of money to invest, a little bit of time to invest it in yourself. You're out there every day making money, paying the bills, and if you can better yourself and increase your earning potential, that's a pretty good investment if you ask me. Other things you can do to increase your earning potential is going to be to get a degree, get different professional certificates, and take different courses. These things can show your employer that you are a valuable member of the team and you may be worth a higher salary. And in the event that you go through all these steps and you go to your employer and you show them your value and they won't give you an appropriate salary for the value that you provide, well, there's nothing to stop you from going to someone who will pay you that. So with the common theme of saving as much money as possible, number 2 is going to be the creme de la creme and the number 1 tip that I can give for anything if we're going to keep things really simple. And that is, if you can't afford to buy something twice, you can't afford it. Simple as that. So say you have enough wiggle room in your budget to get a car that has a $500 per month payment, but you don't necessarily have any wiggle room for more than that. So in this instance, you'd be kind of violating this little statute, this little rule here. And instead of going for a car with a $500 per month payment, this is what you should do. Find a car that has a $250 per month payment and save the difference. Put that into savings, automize that for your month, and there you go. Doing this one trick here is really going to help keep you accountable to your budget, and it's going to help you save money on things that aren't necessarily all that important. And moving on to number 1, I believe that this is the most important thing that you can take away from this whole entire video, and that is, don't invest your money or time or frustration on something that isn't worth it. So moving on to number 1, I believe that if there's anything you can take away from this video, it is going to be this. Don't invest your time, your money, your frustration into something without considering the long-term effects of it. Really simply, this number 1 point is going to be this. If something doesn't provide value for you, don't invest in it. It doesn't matter what it is, time, money, frustration. Like I mentioned, don't put your time into things that aren't going to grow you, to benefit you, to be healthy. These things can be damaging and set you back many years, so just be wise and tactful with the things you get yourselves into. And if it's not providing fruit, if it's not being a good thing for you and for your family and for your situation, you make this decision absolutely on your own, but you absolutely can remove yourself from that. Don't spend too much time in a place where it's damaging you. With that being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it provided value for your life. And in the event that some of you may not be super good auditory learners, I'm going to take this entire breakdown of this list and everything else that I've said today and put it in the description. So any of the resources that I mentioned, like the books and the balance transfer credit card and anything else, those links are going to be in the description along with this big breakout of all this. So if that helps any of you guys, I'm glad. And if not, that's okay too. But this is going to be all from me for this week, and I will see you next time. Bye. Scott, sit. Scott, come here.